Does it feel like there's a storm approaching? You can see it coming. You can see it gaining power. Do you feel like you're prepared for it? At the heart of teaching others is the moral imperative to care. It is the imperative to act, to perceive, and to not look away. These are the words of Randall Alsop and Eric Shee. They wrote an article in 2012 that was published by the Music Educators Journal. It's called Music Education, the Call for Public Pedagogy. It was a discussion about social justice within the music education classrooms of the United States. The reality is, the storm that you are currently feeling is not new. We've been fighting this same battle for generations. Postbellum America has continuously tried to solve the difficulties of living within a diverse society. Even music education has dealt with the dissonance it causes. I believe our music education system is based off of an extremely Eurocentric ideology. And what that means is that the pedagogy, in other words, how we teach music, the history, what we teach, and the aesthetics, what we find beautiful about music, is all based off of that one Eurocentric idea. And of course, that could cause a lot of problems in a country that is as culturally diverse as our own. That in itself creates an implicit bias for some people. And as scary as this is going to sound, that is a form of systemic racism. It can be very difficult and humbling as a choral music educator to reflect on systems and activities and practices that you may have in your program that could actually help to promote a systemic bias. For instance, ask yourself a few questions like, what is your audition process like? And what defines an elite musician in your program? Does money play a role in students' abilities to participate in activities? Are there ways to create fundraisers or sponsorships to help certain students who may have a very strong talent and passion for it, but may not have the means to take private voice or private lessons to help increase their music understanding and capabilities? But it doesn't stop there. The reality is that every underrepresented culture in our society has to deal with issues of ignorance, social justice, equity, equality. But this particular video is going to be dedicated to racism and how it affects our classroom. I'd like to thank my friend Halai Karam, a colleague of mine in Loudoun County, who teamed up with me to present on equity in the choral classroom. Our society is growing more culturally diverse, connected, and more technologically aware every day. As we grow as a community, we must become more aware of the differences and the similarities that we share. Choral music can give us all a glimpse of those things, but it can also help to teach us how we can all work together while still being a diverse community of people. Okay, take 7. You don't see this, but this is the 7th time that I've tried to explain this. So I'm going to try to do it really quickly. Okay, all right. if you are performing a particular selection of music that is not a part of your immediate understanding or your ensemble's immediate understanding of that culture or community, you are mishandling the nuance and the cultural nuances and the history of it, or not even actually exploring the history of the particular piece of music, and you are trying to profit off of your performance of it, and in some way trying to appropriate certain styles of it without any real understanding or educational knowledge of it, that is appropriation. Now, if you're trying to authentically perform a particular piece of music and you have an understanding that this particular piece of music can be performed by you, because there are certain pieces that are within certain cultures that probably should not be performed by someone who is outside of that culture. If it's something that is sacred or very, very deep within a particular group's understanding, it may never really be comfortable for anybody else performing it unless they have someone from within that culture helping to teach it. But if you're trying to stay authentic to the actual style, to the actual understanding, the purpose of certain nuances, and you're not profiting off of it, that would be considered okay. Not cultural appropriation, not negative cultural appropriation. But the thing is, and this is where it gets really difficult to many of your students, because they may have absolutely no knowledge at all of that particular style of music or the work that you put in to learn about it. They may consider it to be appropriation anyway, and it may make them feel uncomfortable. So now you have to go back and you have to figure out, well, how do I approach my ensemble so that they understand that we are doing this in the right way and we are doing this for the right reasons. That can be difficult if you have not developed a culture within the ensemble that allows for that to occur. Intention versus perception. Do your deeds align with your words? For students to feel comfortable in the environment, they have to trust that your words and your deeds are the same. If you truly believe in inclusion and equality and diversity, is it reflected in your student leadership or your enrollment for advanced ensembles or your selection of world music or your booster organization? What about the words that you use in your rehearsal space? Could they be considered offensive to another student? All of these things matter, because if you're not matching your words and your deeds, students could use them and twist them into something negative. The messages that you see here were left on Instagram sites. These sites were created to allow students a safe space to express their pain and frustration and fear that comes with being in a rehearsal with somebody who is being tone deaf or insincere. Reflect on your practices. Research music, research social justice. Listen to your students. Let them have a voice. Provide opportunities for leadership for all types of students. Respect their concerns and support them when they need you, because they do need you. All of them.